There are people who start off in human factors engineering and do a lot of design, so do UI UX, but I don't do much design. I do make prototypes, but very low fidelity basic ones. So it is nice to spread awareness of what human factors engineering is or what I do. I personally didn't think of going into engineering until grade 12. It almost happened like an accident. I really liked math and I really liked physics. And in grade 12, well, I always wanted to be a math teacher. In grade 12, my physics teacher encouraged me to attend this information session at my high school. And I think it was led by my university. I don't remember, but it was an engineering information session. And my physics teacher just thought I should go attend, check out what's happening. And that's where I picked up the university pamphlet. And it had all the programs. And I knew I didn't want to be in a career where I worked in silo. I do really like working with people, but I also like the technical aspect. And that's where I discovered industrial engineering. It was one of the programs in the brochure, and it offered 3 different streams: operations research, information engineering, and human factors engineering. And like any high school kid, I went on Google, Wikipedia specifically, and I typed in human factors engineering. And that's how I found out what human factors engineering is. And that's what sparked my interest.
That's really interesting because you had more of a self-discovery. I think that's what so many people have to do is you've got to dig a little bit deeper sometimes on your own to find out that I could be doing this for a living, or I had no idea that this existed. So I do think it is the responsibility of a lot of people who want to get into a career.
The company I'm part of is called Fresenius Medical Care, and they are device manufacturers, so they make dialysis machines. Before Fresenius, I was at Healthcare Human Factors, and I got to work with a lot of different companies, got to experience working with different types of companies, whether they were startups all the way to multinational companies. I got to work with different types of devices. But what I found was really missing was that I never got to stay with a product until the end. Because it's consulting, you only come in when the company needed your help. You did that little project and that was it. I was moved to Sweden for one of the projects for around like 6 to 8 months. I was working on an anesthesia device, and that was my first time I got to experience what it was like working for a device manufacturer, and I got to see what human factors engineering could be outside the work that I do. So I did a lot of medical device testing for the FDA, but I realized that there's so much more to human factors engineering in medical devices outside just that testing. So from little things to like what the packaging can look like or what the cardboard box design can look like, all the way up to like what the device screens are, what the hardware is like. So that was like my first glimpse into what a role like that could be. And that's when I decided I wanted to do more of that kind of work where I want to stick with one device and develop it throughout, or do more research and development work, which is like early in the design phase when you don't even have a design. It's probably just an idea in your head and you're all just working through. The other benefit of doing something in manufacturing or something with the device manufacturer is that you get to work with people who are not just human factors engineers. So in consulting, I mostly worked with human factors engineers or whoever the client was, whether that was a human factors engineer from the client side or a mechanical engineer. But now I get to work with mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, software engineers, marketing, post-market surveillance. So there are just so many different roles and teams that I work with. And that again is a learning opportunity. You get to see how they think and how they work.
Did you ever think that you're working for this device manufacturer that you would actually get to go halfway around the world and experience that?
It was very exciting. It was, I think it was like 4 months into my full-time job where I got shipped, and I truly enjoyed it because I got to learn so much in the 6 months, 8 months that I was there. Um, and again, I love to travel. So there was always that incentive that Monday to Friday I'm working, Saturday, Sunday I'm traveling. And it was just experiencing a different culture, a different city, country, and just seeing how they work versus how we work.
Are there things that you wish you knew before you found your career that would have been helpful, or other classes maybe that would have helped you along the way?
Classes, not so much, because I was very fortunate that I ran into human factors engineering in grade 12 and I got formally trained in it. I do wish that I had the opportunity to talk to people in the field, because right now my network is pretty established and I can call people, talk to people what they do. But starting off, looking back at undergrad or even high school, I didn't have that network, and it would have been really beneficial if there was someone I could talk to ask, hey, this is something I know, or is like, what is it that you really do, um, instead of just, stumbling upon it.
I think mentors are a big part of a career, and it's something I personally wish I had and wasn't aware of until many, many years later. And it's something I try to encourage everybody at the STEM van, where we try to pair up people in professions, or even students in the middle of their college education, that they make themselves available to talk and help other people in that career journey. Because they can often suggest other insights that we're just not aware of, that we're sort of too close to, or maybe we don't want to listen to our parents when they're suggesting something. So
Yeah.
I do try to encourage that as much as possible.
I'm part of my university alumni mentorship group so that I can provide my volunteer hours or insight to people who do need it. Because yeah, the value is just, there's just so much value in listening from people in the industry about things you can potentially do. I do eventually want to do a master's, given I find a program that supports my career.
What do you feel that will allow you to do that not having that will allow you to do?
So that is exactly why I haven't done post grad yet, because I haven't found a program that will open doors or opportunities that currently don't exist.
More and more companies, especially the smaller ones, are looking at the body of work. What have you done? And it has less weight. But still, I think for a lot of the people that maybe want to work for government organizations, or some of the really big established ones, that still makes a big difference. And I guess I kind of get frustrated with that.
Also depends on what your role is. So if it's deep into the research part of research and development, I think a master's or PhD does make sense in the subject. I can't speak for, I'm not a manager or a director, so I can't speak for what the qualifications are required, but I don't have post-grad. I did a bachelor's of applied science, and I'm still at my company where I am. It also depends on why you do your post-grad. For example, are you switching fields completely? So I do have team members who their undergrad wasn't necessarily in human factors engineering, so they did a post-grad in it, and then they came into human factors engineering, versus my undergrad was in human factors engineering. So further education, I feel at this point isn't necessary, but maybe sometime in the future.
For those young people that they're a junior or senior in high school, and they're really struggling about, do I want to go to college? Do I need to know what I need to, what I'm going to do for a living? Should I take a year off? What advice do you have for those minds that are so filled with pressure about school and dating and studying, etc.?
I would say it's almost like a two-piece advice. I want to say keep your options open, because you never know where the world takes you. But at the same time, it's not the end of the world. So whatever decision you make right now in grade 11, grade 12, or high school, it it will not determine the rest of your life, because as we just discussed, you might find out that there's something completely unrelated to your field that you really enjoy doing, and that's okay, because there are always opportunities to then go back to school or change jobs. So don't think that this is the decision you make now is like the end of the world.
As is so important for so many of us to hear, those who are changing careers or starting a college education or looking to take certificate programs so that they can have a specialty and offer that as well. I will often talk about you don't have to be Homer Simpson being miserable coming home from work every day. You can wake up and be excited and look forward to doing
Exactly.
that. And that I'm sure that there's a lot of that for you because you're making devices that are helping people and saving lives.